Imagine a world ruled by monsters the size of buses, claws sharper than blades, and skies filled with wings that block the sun. Yeah, welcome to the age of dinosaurs. Let S dive into 15 insane dinosaur facts that'll make you question everything you thought you knew. Stick till the end. The last one will blow your mind. Did you know dinosaurs didn't just roar? Some of them actually sang. Recent studies on species like the Parasaurolophus reveal that their huge, hollow head crests were like prehistoric trumpets. They weren't for show, they were musical instruments. These dinosaurs could create deep, haunting calls that would have echoed for miles across the ancient landscapes. Imagine hearing that sound at dusk, a low, resonant melody from a creature the size of a bus. It's a completely different soundscape than the roars we're used to from the movies. And speaking of movies, let's talk about the king, the Tyrannosaurus Rex. Hollywood loves to show the T-Rex in a high-speed chase, but that's not quite right. In reality, the T-Rex was surprisingly slow, probably topping out at around 20 kilometers per hour, or about 12 miles per hour. A fit human could likely outrun one. So, how did it become the apex predator? It wasn't about speed, it was about sheer power and strategy. The T-Rex was a master of the ambush. It would wait, watch, and then strike with devastating force. Its bite was one of the strongest of any land animal ever. With a force of over 12,000 pounds, it could crush the bones of its prey with a single chomp. That's like having a medium-sized truck dropped on you. It didn't need to chase, it just needed one perfect moment to end the fight before it even began. Now, when you think of dinosaurs, you probably picture giants, right? Creatures that shake the ground with every step. And while many were enormous, not all dinosaurs were titans. In fact, some were small enough to fit in your hand. Take the Microraptor, for example. This is one of the smallest dinosaurs ever found, about the size of a modern-day crow. But here's where it gets even cooler. Microraptor had 4 wings. One pair on its arms, like a bird, and another on its legs. Fossil evidence shows it was covered in feathers that shimmered with an iridescent bluish-black sheen in the sunlight, much like a starling. It was less of a monster and more of a dazzling 4-winged glider, silently soaring through the prehistoric forests. It completely changes our image of what a dinosaur could be. Here's something that might blow your mind about the massive skeletons you see in museums. Those dinosaur bones aren't actually bones, at least not anymore. What paleontologists dig up are essentially rocks shaped like bones. This process is called fossilization. Over millions of years buried underground, water rich in minerals seeped into the bones. Slowly, tiny bit by tiny bit, these minerals replaced the original organic material of the bone, cell by cell. The result is a perfect stone replica, a detailed cast of the original structure. So every fossil is a paradox. It's both a bone and a rock. It's nature's own time capsule, preserving the blueprint of a living creature in stone for us to find eons later. We often imagine dinosaurs roaming vast, dry plains, but some were just as comfortable in the water. Meet the Spinosaurus, a true prehistoric oddity. Longer than a T-Rex and sporting a massive sail on its back, Spinosaurus was the ultimate hybrid. It had a long, crocodile-like snout filled with conical teeth, perfect for snagging slippery fish. Its dense bones, similar to those of penguins, would have helped it control its buoyancy, and its broad, paddle-like tail was likely used for propulsion in the water. It's the only dinosaur we know of that was truly semi-aquatic. It could hunt on land and in the rivers, a fearsome predator in 2 different worlds. Forget sharks or crocodiles, the Spinosaurus was the real king of the prehistoric waterways. Now, what if I told you that dinosaurs are still among us? And no, I'm not talking about a secret island. I'm talking about your backyard, or even your dinner plate. Genetically speaking, chickens are living dinosaurs. Modern birds are the direct descendants of a group of dinosaurs called theropods, which is the same family that includes the mighty T-Rex and the agile velociraptor. The evolutionary line is so direct that scientists have found striking similarities in their bone structures and even genetic makeup. So the next time you see a chicken pecking at the ground or hear a rooster crow at dawn, take a closer look. You're staring into the eyes of a survivor, a tiny feathered echo of the thunder lizards that once ruled the earth. One of the biggest misconceptions, thanks to Hollywood movies and cartoons, is the idea of cavemen fighting dinosaurs. The simple truth is, it never happened. Not even close. The last of the non-avian dinosaurs went extinct about 65 million years ago. The very first ancestors of modern humans didn't appear until millions of years later. To put it in perspective, if you condensed Earth's entire 4.5 billion year history into a single 24-hour day, the dinosaurs would have roamed for a long time, but they would vanish completely at around 10:40 p.m. And humanity, we would show up in the last second at 11:59 and 59 seconds. The time gap separating us from the dinosaurs is more than 30 times longer than the time that has passed since they disappeared. Ready for a truly wild idea? Some dinosaurs might have glowed in the dark. This isn't science fiction, it's a fascinating new theory based on fossil scans. Scientists are exploring the possibility that some species had biofluorescent patterns on their skin, scales, or feathers. This isn't the same as bioluminescence, where an animal creates its own light. Instead, biofluorescence is when a surface absorbs light at one wavelength and re-emits it at a different, lower energy wavelength, creating a glow that's only visible under certain light conditions. Why would they do this? It could have been used for communication, to attract mates in the dim light of a dense forest, or even to startle predators. Imagine a prehistoric night suddenly lit up by the eerie, glowing patterns of a dinosaur. What color was a T-Rex? Was a Stegosaurus green with yellow plates? The honest answer is, we don't really know. The fossilization process that preserves bones so perfectly, unfortunately doesn't preserve soft tissues like skin or the pigments within them. So that classic green T-Rex or gray Brontosaurus from your childhood toy box? That's pure guesswork, an artist's best interpretation. In fact, recent discoveries are showing that many dinosaurs we once thought were scaly were actually covered in feathers of all shapes and sizes, and these feathers could have been as brightly colored and patterned as any modern bird. The prehistoric world might have been far more vibrant and colorful than we ever imagined. The extinction. We all have this image of a giant asteroid hitting, and poof, all the dinosaurs are gone in a flash of light. The truth is much more drawn out and horrifying. Yes, the asteroid impact was catastrophic, but it was just the beginning of the end, not the end itself. Imagine a world on fire. The Chicxulub asteroid, which slammed into what is now Mexico, struck with a force 10 billion times stronger than the atomic bomb at Hiroshima. The immediate aftermath was an inferno. The impact triggered global wildfires, turning continents into seas of flame. The shockwave generated tsunamis thousands of feet high that raced across the oceans, obliterating coastlines. But the real killer was the aftermath. The sky went dark. So much dust, soot, and vapor were blasted into the atmosphere that it blocked out the sun, not for days or weeks, but for months, possibly even years. This triggered a global impact winter. Temperatures plummeted. Without sunlight, plants couldn't photosynthesize. They withered and died on a massive scale. The entire food chain collapsed from the bottom up. Herbivores starved first, and then the carnivores that preyed on them followed. But wait, it gets worse. The superheated material thrown into the air combined with atmospheric water to create acid rain. Not just a light shower, but a relentless downpour of acid that fell for centuries, poisoning the soil, rivers, and even the surface layers of the oceans. The oceans themselves essentially boiled in some areas near the impact and became acidified globally, wiping out countless marine species. The extinction wasn't a single event. It was a slow, agonizing process of starvation, freezing, and poisoning that unfolded over generations. It took over 1 million years for the very last of the non-avian dinosaurs to finally vanish from the fossil record. It was a true planetary apocalypse. Now here's a twist that might just change how you see the world. Did the dinosaurs really go extinct? Well, yes and no. While the giant sauropods and the fearsome T-Rex are long gone, a specific lineage of dinosaurs not only survived the apocalypse, but they thrive today. I'm talking about birds. That's right, the pigeon you see on the sidewalk, the chicken on your plate, the eagle soaring in the sky, they are all modern-day dinosaurs. Paleontologists have uncovered an incredible amount of fossil evidence, like the famous Archaeopteryx, that shows a clear evolutionary link between theropod dinosaurs, the group that includes Velociraptor and T-Rex, and the first birds. They had feathers, hollow bones, and similar skeletal structures. So when the world was collapsing, some of these smaller, feathered dinosaurs were able to survive. Their size meant they needed less food, their feathers provided insulation against the cold, and their ability to fly, or at least glide, allowed them to travel vast distances to find scarce resources. They didn't just survive, they inherited the Earth. And it's not just birds. Other ancient reptilian lines like crocodiles and alligators also survived the mass extinction. These crocodilians are living fossils, having changed very little in millions of years. They were contemporaries of the dinosaurs, and they're still with us. So in a very real sense, dinosaurs, or at least their direct descendants, are still ruling the planet. They just look a little different now. Let's talk about the dinosaurs themselves. We often see them portrayed as indestructible monsters, roaring and stomping without a care in the world. But fossils paint a much more vulnerable and, frankly, more relatable picture. They were living, breathing animals, and just like any animal, they got sick and felt pain. Scientists have become medical detectives, examining dinosaur skeletons for signs of illness and injury. And what they've found is astonishing. They've discovered evidence of arthritis in the joints of older dinosaurs, showing they suffered from stiff, aching limbs just like we do. They found bone cancer, with visible tumors growing on fossilized skeletons. They've even found evidence of infections, places where bones were broken and then healed improperly, likely causing chronic pain for the rest of the animal's life. Even the king himself, the Tyrannosaurus rex, wasn't immune. Paleontologists have found holes in T-Rex jawbones that are consistent with a parasitic infection similar to one that affects modern birds. This would have caused painful sores in its throat, making it difficult to eat, and likely giving the mighty T-Rex a fever and making it feel miserable. These discoveries remind us that these weren't just movie monsters. They were complex biological creatures that battled disease, injury, and the simple pains of growing old. Now let's zoom in on their capabilities, because while they were vulnerable, they were also incredibly sophisticated hunters. Their senses were tuned to a level that is almost supernatural by our standards. Take the velociraptor. We know from the size and shape of its skull, its olfactory lobes, the part of the brain that processes smell, that its sense of smell was astonishingly sharp. It's estimated to have been up to 50 times more powerful than a bloodhound's. They could likely smell prey from miles away, tracking it with an accuracy we can barely comprehend. And it wasn't just smell. The vision of many dinosaurs was also extraordinary. Based on the structure of their eye sockets and optic nerves, we believe some species could see in the ultraviolet spectrum. This is a range of light that is completely invisible to human eyes. Imagine what the world would look like. Flowers would have patterns we can't see, animal tracks might glow under certain light, and prey would be unable to hide in shadows that seem dark to us but are illuminated for them. They hunted in a sensory world that we can only begin to imagine, making them even more effective and terrifying predators. So we have this epic story, a world ruled by supersensory giants, a cataclysm that wiped almost everything out, and a few survivors that evolved into the creatures we know today. But the legacy of the dinosaurs goes even deeper. They didn't just vanish into legend, they literally built our future. Think about our modern world. Where does our energy come from? A huge portion of it comes from oil and natural gas, and what is that? It's fossil fuel. It's the compressed, heated, and chemically transformed remains of ancient organic matter, primarily microscopic marine organisms, but also the dinosaurs and plants of that era. Their bodies, buried for millions of years, were transformed into the energy that powers our cars, heats our homes, and runs our industries. We are literally running on dinosaur ghosts. And what about us? Mammals. Our distant ancestors were around during the age of dinosaurs, but they were small, nocturnal creatures scurrying in the shadows, trying not to get stepped on or eaten. The dinosaurs were so dominant, so successful, that they occupied every major ecological niche. There was simply no room for mammals to grow larger or diversify. The asteroid changed everything. By wiping out 75% of life, including all the large dinosaurs, it cleared the board. It created a massive power vacuum. And into that vacuum stepped our ancestors. The extinction of the dinosaurs was the single most important event that allowed for the rise of mammals, which eventually led to primates and ultimately to us. Without that asteroid, we probably wouldn't exist. The story of the dinosaurs is the story of life itself. its incredible power, its surprising fragility, and its endless capacity for reinvention. They didn't just die out, they rewrote the rules of life on this planet. Their extinction made room for us. Their bodies fuel our civilization, and their DNA lives on in the birds all around us. So next time you look up at a bird flying overhead, or fill up your car at the gas station, or even just walk across a field, take a moment. Remember that you are seeing the echoes of giants. You're walking on a world that was built by them and transformed by their departure, because the dinosaurs, they never really left. If that blew your mind as much as it did mine, do me a huge favor and smash that like button. And if you want more insane facts that make reality feel prehistoric, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next journey into the unknown. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.